Hello, my name's Jason from septictank.co.uk and welcome to Tip of the Day. And in this tip, I'm going to show you how to literally save hundreds and hundreds of pounds by choosing and finding the right septic tank. Now, let me show you this, right? Now, pretend that this line here is the grass. That's the ground that you stand on, okay? Now, there's two types of septic tanks in the UK market. You probably recognise this one. That's called an onion shape septic tank, okay? Now this one, probably recognise as well, it's called a bullet shape septic tank. So now let me show you the pros and the cons of each of these tanks. Now, this tank here, the pros of it, okay, are that it costs about 150 quid less than the bullet tank. So let me write down here, I'm going to write down the pros. So it costs about, well, let's say, because prices can vary, but let's just put this in perspective. So up front, it costs a third less to buy up front, okay? No doubt about that. They're cheap to buy because they're made of fiberglass, so they don't cost a lot to manufacture. So that's one of the pros, right? And that is about it. I'm not kidding, all right? And I'm not being biased here in any way, shape or form. So someone who's on a budget may think, okay, I can save myself 200 quid here, 300 quid, maybe 400 quid by going for a cheaper tank. Sorted, that's good, that's money. But it's false economy. Let me show you why, right? Even though these are a third less to buy up front, the cons far outweigh the couple of hundred quid that you're going to save up front, right? The cons are, right, the hole is 3 times bigger, right? It's 3 times deeper, all right? It's 3 times bigger, 3 times deeper, all right? So that means you've got to hire a digger, right? So for the bullet septic tank, you could get a small digger, a 1.5 ton digger, 3 ton. For this, you've got to use a 3 ton, a 5 ton, or a JCB. So suddenly, you know, that 200, 300, 400 quid you saved, now you've got to pay an extra 150, 200 quid, 300 quid to get a bigger digger in. But it doesn't end there. Right. On these onion-shaped septic tanks, there's one thing that you have to do with all of them, or the manufacturers will not warranty them. You've got to backfill them with concrete. Right. So you've got to backfill with concrete. All right, and so unless you do that, as I said, the manufacturers won't warranty them, and they're a pig to put in, right? And so let's say it takes. So let's put your next thing. It takes 2 to 3 days to get one of these in as well. Now, to backfill with concrete can cost you anywhere from flipping heck 400 to 800 quid to backfill that with concrete. And so, so suddenly that 200 or 300 quid that you've saved up front has now disappeared, right? It's now been eaten into because suddenly, right, you're paying out, let's say, let's put a mean average here. Let's say 5. So suddenly you're paying out another 600-700 quid that you wouldn't have had to pay out. Okay, you've saved 300 quid, but you still you still paid another 400 quid on top of that. So let's put that in perspective for you. Let's say this tank has cost you, I don't know. Let's compare the prices of both tanks, right? So let's say this tank is going to cost you 899 quid. And let's say the onion equivalent is going to cost you 599, right? So that's an immediate saving, right, of 300 quid. All right. But then, right, you've got to pay out an extra flip here there. Easy. You're going to pay out an extra 200 to 300 quid for a bigger digger, right? So there's your savings gone. Now it goes into deficit because now with the concreting price, right, you've got to pay out an extra, right? What the heck? Let's say typically on that, it's going to cost you about 600 quid on that size septic tank. So suddenly, right, you've lost your savings and you've found you've had to pay another 600 quid out to put the concrete blanket around there. That's not including the extra day or two of labour and all the hassle and all the costs of trying to install it. Now on the bullet tank, right, all right, it's cost you 899, which is 300 quid more, but let's look at the pros here. Let's look at the pros. Number one, you only need to backfill with a few ton of gravel or shingle. That's all you need. Number two, right, it's 2/3 shallower than the onion tank. Oh gosh, here's another one I haven't even told you about. With these onion tanks, right, the soakaway, because it's so deep, the soakaway has to literally start a minimum of 3 to 4 feet below the grass, right? Man, the complications. It's bad enough having to go 2 foot down in the ground with the soakaway. Never mind 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 feet. I mean, this is just a small to medium-sized onion tank. Once you start going deeper and deeper and deeper, the resistance gets mad and the bigger the soakaway has to go. So what I'm saying is that initial 300 quid you may have saved will cost you, oh God, anywhere from 600 to flipping almost $2,000 in additional costs because of the extra depth you've gone to put your soakaway in. Whereas on the bullet tank, right, the inlet pipe and the outlet pipe are relatively shallow. So the soakaway can start shallow in the ground. So if you want a tip, don't think about that initial 200 to 300 quid up front in costs. It's the back end of where you actually need to save the money, the total job, how much it's going to cost by the time you're finished, right? Because that's false economy, and people will sell these like 399, 4995, but then, as I said, you know, they don't tell you how hard it is to get in the ground, how deep your soakaway has to be. Don't do that. So that's a serious consideration. But if you follow that tip, pay that 200 or 300 quid extra on, say, the bullet septic tank, right? Then you'll save at least 1,000 to 2,000 quid on the back end. So yeah, so that for me is tip of the day. You can't beat that tip. That's an amazing tip. And you know, it amazes me that people even still put onion-shaped septic tanks in, to be honest. People are just thinking upfront costs when they're buying it. But as I said, you know, when it comes to them finally seeing how much the job costs in total by the time they finished, they're really surprised. And if you're paying someone to do it, of course they're going to put an additional 1,000, 2,000 quid on the price of that it's going to cost to do the job. You know, so it's madness and folly going for an onion tank. Now, if you've got 2 bullet tanks, right, one's cheaper than the other, that's fine. Do that. That's not false economy. But look, if you enjoyed this tip and you want to see some more tips, then go to septictank and there you'll find loads of videos, loads of tips, loads of free advice. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tip of the day.